OK, next, protecting crowded places from the threat of terrorism in the run-up to Christmas. Today, employers from across the East Midlands have been getting safety advice from the police.
Well, our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball was there too. He's in Nottingham's Old Market Square for us. Good evening to you, Jeremy. Why is all this happening now then?
Good evening, Anne. Well, because city centres get really crowded at Christmas time, of course, people shopping, people celebrating. And as you know, there have actually been terrorist attacks on Christmas markets, like the one that they're setting up here in Nottingham at the moment. And that's why we've seen armed police on our streets in the run-up to recent Christmases. Now, they're mainly for reassurance. And today, the national terror threat has actually been downgraded from severe to substantial, but the government says that threat is still high, and today businesses here in the East Midlands have been getting some advice from a police chief who's in charge of counter-terrorism.
The East Midlands, as with anywhere in the UK, can be a target, and we've seen throughout Europe and through the attacks in the UK over the past couple of years that it can happen anywhere, so we've got to be vigilant at all times. The other difficulty is that the threat can come from anywhere these days, so it's not just about religious provenance, it may also be about extreme right activists, and that kind of activity could be a lone actor, it could be organised groups, it could be people who've simply picked up these messages online through browsing, picking up propaganda.
Well, now more than 250 employers here in the East Midlands have signed up to a security network called CSSC, and Andrew Nichols is the man in charge of that. Andrew, first of all, how does it work?
Well, it's very straightforward. The National Counter-Terrorism team send information straight through to our hub in the East Midlands, and we then automatically onward cascade that by email to everybody that's signed up to our system.
How can you possibly prepare, though, for a random attack?
Well, one of the best ways is actually creating a really good security culture, and that's dependent on two things really. One is getting the right information, and secondly then onward cascading that information to your teams.
Who are you aiming at here?
Well, pretty well everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're going for a night out, or whether you're spending time in the city centre during the day. We're just trying to actually create a security culture, and everybody has a part to play in that, and just keeping alert to the threat is important.
We also heard today that the businesses are getting advice on suspicious packages, aren't they?
Well, yes, and that's just one of many angles of things that people can come across, and it doesn't really matter whether it's unattended shopping or a suspicious vehicle. They are encouraged to report it so that actually it can be made safe and checked on.
You're talking about lots of communication here. How much difference do you think that can make?
I think it's critical, and we've seen in the past that people can be very alert to these things, and actually as we go out to enjoy ourselves for the festive period, having a good security culture is just so important.
Andrew Nichols, many thanks for joining us. Lots of messages today. One of the key messages here was don't worry about coming into town, but if you do see something you think might be suspicious, well, do report it.